Well, hello and welcome back. We are continuing season 28. This is Developreneur, the Building Better Developers podcast. We are focusing on this episode, this season of AI exposing the cracks. Yes, it's a great tool, but it's also a tool that ends up shining the light on some places that sometimes needed the light shown on it, essentially. I am Rob Broadhead, one of the founders of Developreneur, also the founder of RB Consulting, where we help you find clarity. We help organizations avoid expensive technology mistakes before they make them. Good thing and bad thing. Good thing is this was a great conversation. I'm loving this. I'm really looking forward to part two. The bad thing is that I'm still so excited about the whole thing that I'm like stumbling over my own words and stuff like that. Hopefully, Michael's going to do it better as he introduces himself.
Yes. Hey, everyone. My name is Michael Malash. I'm one of the co-founders of Building Better Developers, also known as Developreneur. I'm also the founder of Envision QA, where we help essentially businesses remove the chaos. We help you remove all those processes and basically bottlenecks of your business that is preventing you from scaling and growing. Good thing and bad thing. Good thing, we're having a great conversation here, and we have gone in so many different directions that I just want to jump on the site and play with it. Bad thing, don't have time right now.
That is, I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, I really want to do this, but then there's part of me that like, luckily I've got a vacation coming up, so maybe I'll be able to spend some extra time just like checking out sites and conversations and stuff like that. Because the last thing I need is one more rabbit hole. But right now we get to dive right into part two. We're going to pick up right where we left off and just get ready to go. This is a fun one. And be looking for check the links out. Check the site out. By the time this comes out, we're hoping to double, triple, quadruple the amount of people he has on his site just because of everybody flooding in from the Developreneur audience. And here we go. But I guess we'll back up a little bit to the foundation of this is the goal. What is the goal in this? Is it really just to know that you're human, or because it sounds like now with this rating system, it's more about having good or healthy discussions?
Like I said, we do not want to police content, like what you're saying or what posts you're making, what comments you're making. We're not looking to do that. We're looking to just say you're human or you're not human.
And so what sounds like then you're really in the midst of it sounds existential, but what does it mean to be human? Basically, is what signals do we see? And Michael brought up a couple of good ones, and you've sort of addressed those. Like, is it, if you're very repetitive, if you're in a group that everybody's very repetitive, if you're, there's probably some other things in there, but it's like, these are the things that we deem as not human or as bot type activities versus the things that are. And then I guess there's so you're in the middle of that. Is there something that trumps that, which would basically be, as Michael was saying, it's like, so can you come in and just say, I brought 100 people in and they all know me and I know them. So we have we're free we're valid enough that whatever we do from here, we can just go in and we can enjoy the site and we don't have to worry about being a bad actor or being, labeled as a bot or something like that.
Well, I mean, that's a problem I'm hoping to have, actually. So that's a question that is kind of yet unanswered, but I need those 100+ people to come in and kind of do the actual interaction so we can get some data about how they actually interact and how they actually post. And if they're really interested in this one topic and you got 100 people who only talk about that, that's fine, perfectly fine. And maybe my assumptions on that are wrong and we're going to adjust that accordingly. But the main idea is that in the end, we're not going to be policing content. It's not going to be an idea of moderation. We're trying to kind of build this self-moderation thing. And we really only want to care about whether you're human or not and let humans do whatever humans want to do.
So do you have because you talked early on about if you go and invite a bot or something like that, then it's like it breaks your trust chain. So is it like a chain that once it's broken that it's a pass fail kind of thing, or is it more that you guys have it set up so if I've got 100 people and one becomes a bot, then now my trust drops from 100 to 99%?
Yes, that was a question Michael asked that I missed. He asked about the
can you disassociate?
How you disassociate, correct. And we call it rescinding an invite. And so that's something that we kind of have looked at and thinking about. And rescinding an invite would be like a major hit on that account, but kind of remove some of the hit from your own accounts if you're helping the network like that. So, and these are kind of just ideas that are out there at this point. It's not even stuff that's implemented, but the idea would be that you can rescind an invite from someone who didn't turn out to be, the good actor you thought they were going to be, and that'll help your trust score, and your placement in your content feeds.
Now, as you're going through this and you're mining for customers and such like that, as you said, like initially start with people that complained and things like that to say, oh, these are our people. Is there anything within that you're looking to also have people that are very active in whatever platform they're on? Because it feels like, if everybody joins your platform but nobody's talking, then it doesn't really provide much. So you sort of looking as a twofer, as I want somebody that likes to provide content, but also somebody that hates to talk to bots.
Yeah, I mean, we need content, we need activity. There's always this critical mass problem. No one's going to want to be here until people are here, and people, it's just that the whole network issue that you have with any social media site or any kind of site where you need a lot of people having activity in order for it to work. So yeah, we got the network problem. We're trying to work through that, and we think it's a numbers game at this point. And whether you come and do 100 posts or you come and do one and maybe invite some people, that's great. But it's two-pronged. We got to get people that are interested in this, and it's not going to be an easy path because we got people who care about humans and we got people who also talk. So there's a tough road ahead of us, and we're hoping to bite it off.
So have you considered gamifying it a little bit? So there's sites out there like Second Life where basically you create your own persona online and you kind of go live in this virtual world. Mm-hmm. Have you thought about trying, since this is like supposed to be people talking to people, have you thought about trying to do something along that line, or maybe do like forums, town halls, like online, to get people, hey, come check this out, come talk, come, just some way to interact with them to kind of make it more people like.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I understand.
I feel like I'm not quite connecting the dots on that.
No, there's probably an idea in there somewhere, but I'll just talk to the way that we have gamified it so far. And that's with like having some badges. For instance, if you were to join right now from a Genesis invite, you would have basically a Genesis token, meaning that your token was one that wasn't actually invited by anyone else. You're the level 0 invite, and everything that goes on from there is just underneath you. And so, the invites that you do from there are your trust chain. You don't really have a trust chain at this point. And that's when we invite somebody. That's what we're doing when we go to people who are talking about bots online, people who are complaining about not having human interaction. Those are the people that we kind of reach out to with a Genesis token. But then we have the people that come in through the homepage, no invite. We call them pre-invite people. They come in, they get kind of this cold start. There's there's just basically an interaction with me personally. You come in, you get to this status page which says we're waiting for you to be verified. And there's a chat box that comes up, and you actually send a chat and it goes directly to me. I answer, and I basically at that point I'm trusting whether you're human, and I add you directly to my personal trust chain. And at that point you're part of, you're the second one to come in. So there's a little bit of gamification there with the Genesis badge. We've also had one other badge that we just kind of made up on the fly, where someone actually made that first post And so we made them a badge, and we're like, we're so excited about this. So you made a post without anyone asking. You did it, on your own. You came in and interacted with our site. Here's a badge that we're just super excited about. Here it is. You're the first poster on the site. So we're definitely along the lines of gamification. We're coming up with other ways that we might be able to do that. I would love to talk more about your ideas on how we could gamify it, though, because it's just me talking to myself right now, really.
But
go ahead, Rob.
There's a couple decades now of sites like this that have tried various things. Looking back at those, we'll go with like a good and a bad. Is there something that you've seen that another site's done that you really see this is something that you can use to build that groundswell and get over the hump to have the right amount of people and conversations? And is there one that you're like, I definitely don't want to do that because that's not the direction we want to go?
Well, I've spent quite a bit of time on Reddit, for example. You got to do a lot of research there. They have kind of a badge system, which is, you get kind of, if you've made 1,000 posts, if you've, scrolled 1,000 feeds or, linked to 1,000 bananas or something like that, they have those things. And so those badges are kind of cool. I don't think they really draw too much real engagement. So I'm trying to come up with ideas. I can't say I have a whole bunch of good ideas about doing it, but the way I want to go is, how do we get more signals that you're human? How do we get signals that you're not human? And I want to any gamification that I'm doing, I'm thinking about those, like, how do we get towards this humans only, pathway? And how do we reinforce that and reinforce it over and over again? And any gamification I do, I kind of want to lean towards, we need humans here. And, what causes humans to come? And so it's just, I need more ideas.
I guess worst case, you can just have they can just keep going through, the prove you're human types little quizzes, and they can just go through there. How many times you determine how many are a traffic light and how many is a car, and so like hey, you've gone through 18 human confirmation tests, and so you must be more human than the guy that's only gone through 3 of them. So, Michael, you had a question?
Yeah, I was going to kind of ask about that. So right now, if everything comes to you for human interaction, how are you going to scale this without something like Rob just mentioned, without having to add the quizzes or some type of chat bot to at least verify that they're real, because you have to sleep sometimes. So that's the first part. And then the second part of that is you talked about, as people get flagged as bots, or basically your chain gets kind of degraded. Are you looking to have a ranking system, kind of like all the other sites like Amazon, eBay, and all that, where people can essentially downgrade? Hey, I think this is a bot, or the quality of this is low. And then how do you manage that? Yeah. Again, with scale, because you're going to have a scaling issue. I see if you go gangbusters quickly.
Oh yeah. We're definitely we're easy to deal with while we're small. It's easy to handle a few chats coming in once a day, twice a day, whatever it might be, 5-10 times a day. So that's, small enough to handle. But then, how do we scale that? And I think my plan really was to just turn off cold starts, and, that it just becomes where you can't come in unless you have an invite. There's no pre-invite queue. There's no homepage starting off. The homepage becomes just content, and instead of a sign up flow, you go straight to content, and you can get in there, and then you might request an invite. And maybe at that point, once you request an invite, there might be high trust members who go into a queue, and they can start looking at new members that want to be here but haven't been vouched for yet. And so we could have still levels of trust where they get to become people who can verify other people who they're not inviting themselves. We could have something like that. And then the ranking system, that's a tough question, because you don't want to give all your power to a few high-ranked individuals. You want them to kind of degrade over time. You want to have people have the opportunity to make high rank. And so there's a big question there, where, do we have a funnel where just the people who start today end up taking over the whole thing? And that's a real problem we're going to have, and it's one we got to solve at some point. But as far as right now, the idea would be flag someone. If you flag someone and you're a high trust, we're kind of going to trust that your flag was real and your flag should go against this person. You know what I mean? So your trust that you're human is kind of, that score is what matters right now for all that flagging and all the moderation, or how you can invite other people, how that trust flows down to your next invite, how that trust flows into your content that you post, into your comments. Like if high trust people are commenting on this post, that should push that post up, but don't overdo it and not let anybody with low trust ever make it up.
Well, and that becomes you mentioned even the idea of like degradation or something, because that's a challenge. As you get the people in and they're trusted and they're in early and now they're part of this bigger and bigger trust network. Mm-hmm. How do you address sucking down that power, basically, so you don't have a couple of people that are effectively gatekeepers into the whole system and everybody has to come through them, so that it stays community level as opposed to, stays a democracy instead of becoming communism or something like that, a dictatorship.
Dictatorship, yeah.
That was one of the first questions that I had when I started working on it. Was like, this is just going to lead to, one person or one small group of people owning all the content that shows up at the top, because as their trust goes up, their post should show up the highest. And so now whatever they post is going to be the first thing you see when you come to chirper.com, right? So how do we do that? Well, you do it through degradation, like you said. The trust score simply transfers. So it goes to your content, but that doesn't mean that content itself has to stay at that trust level. That trust level there could degrade slowly or over time as it's needed to allow other content to come up. So you keep your trust score, but the content you post doesn't necessarily have to keep it, as time goes on.
I like that. So go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, so so it's interesting. I've been playing a game called Arc Raiders, and it is become a case study for human interaction, because the game is PvP VE. So it's player versus environment. And there are so many players that want to play the game just to play as the environment, and there's a lot of people that just want to play player versus player. And inside the game itself, it's built a community where they're self-policing each other. So I'm curious, given how you're explaining your site, are you looking at this to kind of evolve similar along those lines? So even though you do have people that will have high trust, low trust, are you seeing it or potentially envisioning it where it could evolve into its own communities? Like, oh, okay, low trust people kind of go over here, high trust go over here, certain conversations will end up here. I'm just kind of curious, because in the back of my mind, as you explain this, I'm thinking about how that the Arc Raiders evolved. It sounds like this has the potential to evolve into something else. I'm just not sure you see that, or if that's even what you're envisioning with the product at this time. But I see that this could, if you're doing like real people, like people with people, what other potential possibilities are there with that?
That actually brings up an amazing point that I have not considered completely. So I'm going to have to go start playing Arc Raiders and see what that's about. But that's an amazing point. I've never really thought about how you might break up into high trust community, low trust community, medium trust community, whatever that might be. So no, I haven't thought about that. And this is the kind of thing I'm trying to draw out of, people as they join and get that data about how people actually interact with humans, and that's really just, the real goal is just get humans interacting with humans, where they can trust each other are actually real. And so however they end up interacting, we'll deal with that as it comes. But those are some interesting points you brought up that I had not considered at all. So I'm gonna have to check into it.
Well, it does become an interesting, almost social experiment. Is, do you set it up? Do you allow it and configure it in a way that humans can become the way humans do? And you end up with like tribes and clans and stuff like that. You have certain trust systems that are maybe you have a certain trust level on science related stuff, and a different one on politics related stuff, and a different one related on literature related stuff, so that it's not just it's one, yes, you're a person, but now you're at the community level. Or so am I trusted to speak on programming, or am I trusted to speak on, religion, or am I trusted to really speak on politics? And do you allow it to grow into that? Because if it's conversations, then that really changes, because now you're talking about what do they call, like, peer reviewed and stuff like that. It's like, where does it move from human to content and human to community?
Okay, two things I got to address there. One, I love that you brought up trusted to speak on, because that's like one of the big problems that I think everyone sees online is there's this amateur problem of, can I even trust that this person knows what they're talking about enough to tell me the answer to this question? And so that's a super interesting question that we could look into answering, and I'm going to definitely look into that. But I want to also address your idea of communities, and what we have is this thing called nests, where it's just basically a category of a topic. And one of the things we want to integrate into Nest is a sort of a diversity score. So if you're in a Nest and all the content is coming from one trust chain, for example, there's like 10 people, and everybody who was in this invite chain over here is now talking about this one Nest. That would have a low diversity score. So you're not getting a ton of different opinions, right? So what we would add into that is, what is the diversity on this, and number of opinions coming in from all over the place, or are these all just a single kind of entity talking to each other? And that's something, you might have, like, say, on a subreddit where you're inside of a particular party discussion forum. You'd have all these people that were invited by each other, and they're all talking about this one thing. There's no no differing opinions. And so you would kind of see, we want to, foster, bring that up to the top and show this is all just one not diverse opinion. This is, and give more people the opportunity to come in, talk about it. And this is where the no moderation comes in, is that anyone's allowed to come in and post to this Nest, and anyone's allowed to talk in here. So you're not going to push people out simply by being this political party. You're going to have to allow them to talk because they're human. You know what I mean? So if they're human, they're allowed to talk in here. That's it. You don't get to tell them they can't talk because of that. And so now your diversity score is going up, and you're seeing opinions from all over the place, from people who you had no interaction with before. And I think, and I hope, the idea behind this site being that we can bring up data like that about what the conversation's doing. That's part of what a human conversation should look like. And now we have this, it's not bots talking to each other because they're going to have their agenda. And this is a benefit of having humans talk. And so, do you guys care about it enough to come? Well, come over to chirper.com with 2 P's and check it out.
Well, I think it's sad that we're starting to run out of time, because this actually is now starting to get into something where I think we may have to have another conversation, whether it's another episode or not, just to talk to you a little further down the road where you go with this. I do want to, before I grab your links in that for everybody out there, because this does sound interesting, and obviously it's sort of a ground floor opportunity to see one of these kinds of sites grow and evolve. I think there's something very valuable there, is you're a human and you're talking like a human within that, having that diversity score, having the diversity of ideas that I think everybody really is complaining about. It's when you hear one side and it's an echo chamber and it's always the same thing and everybody's just always being reinforced. So they're not learning, and then they don't trust, because they're like, I don't know. Nobody trusts anybody anymore, basically. They're like, I don't know that this person has any reason to be able to state that comment. Have they seen it? Have they witnessed it? Do they have a degree, or whatever their reasoning is behind it? So I think moving from just humans into trusted conversations and things like that, I think is something that you have a huge upside, I think, to that. And I think is a really interesting place for you to chase down. So love the idea. Love that you've sorry if it feels like you've been on the hot seat, because it does feel like we've pushed on a lot of pressure tested a lot of these ideas. Mm-hmm. But I think it's, this is great. These are some of the better conversations we have. And after all of this, So what is the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Oh, that's simple. You just go to chirper.com, CHIRPPER.com. You're going to be immediately asked, are you human? Do you want in? Once you do that, it takes you and you get your key. And the key is really, this is where kind of that blockchain comes back in, is you only get to see it once. So this is where some friction is introduced. You're now getting a key that we can't ever recover for you. So this is just a one-time opportunity. If you don't copy that key, you'll never recover this account. But hopefully you copy it down. That takes you to a status page where you actually will get to chat directly with me. You'll say hi. I'll say, hey, how you doing? I'm glad you're here. And I'm going to add you to my trust chain. And once I do that, then you're a member, and you can go post and comment and do anything else. And so that's where it lives today. Things are changing rapidly as new members come in. We're kind of quickly changing things and taking in feedback and making things different and trying out new ideas like the ones you guys brought up are going to be amazing, because this diversity of ideas thing that you were just bringing up as a great idea, that was something that we thought about way back in the beginning and kind of haven't touched it since, because you need the network effect to do it, right? So we're nowhere to close to the network effect right now. So that's kind of a later idea we'll pick up at some point, but it's there and we're thinking about it.
So that is so awesome. Totally looking forward to this. Definitely we'll have links in the show notes for everybody that's listening to be able to, check this place out. Go out there and prove you're human. If you're not human and you're listening, then you don't get to come, but the rest of you do. We'll talk about aliens in another one, whether they're going to be allowed to use the site. That being said, we're going to wrap this one up. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We appreciate you becoming better developers. Go out there and have yourself a great day, a great week, and we will talk to you, but not you robots. All you humans, we'll talk to you next time. So bonus after all of this, I'm trying to figure out what would be the best thing for you to give to these as a bonus for our watching audience.
Go ahead. Where I could send you an invite right now and you could sign up and see what it's like. An idea.
There you go. So if you want to do that, you want to do we'll get 5 people that we'll verify, and then they can send to you and somebody off the listening audience or whatever, if they want to, or actually I guess it's the viewing audience, get a couple. There'll be a limit of couple invites, and you get to, I guess regardless, you get to talk to Richard. So does that sound like a good one? Sound like a good plan?
Perfect for me.
All right. Well, we'll do that. We'll make sure that we'll have that in the show notes. We'll give a code of Developreneur, I guess. Michael, can you remember that? Michael does all the links. So you just say, hey, I was listening to Developreneur, this is who I am, and then you can talk to Richard and get yourself an account. And I think I'll be doing that. I'm really curious, so I think I'll be doing that very soon. I'll be in touch with you so I can sign up and prove my humanity. And if I fail, I'll let everybody know. I'll be like, okay, by the way, I'm no longer human. You guys just have to deal with it. It wouldn't be the first time I've been called inhuman. Thanks. That's great. Best of luck with this. Thanks so much for taking some time. And again, like I said, this is great. Just diving in and answering all these questions on the fly. It really, for both of us, I think it's really helped us understand a little better what you've got and some of the ideas, where you're going with it. And I'm fascinated. I'll be following you for a while. We'll see where this goes.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. You have a good day. Yep.